That's make it hurt.
Recording.
Hi everybody, I'm Robin.
I'm Nicholas.
Welcome to Unscrupulous Shit, our podcast.
Officially.
This
has been work in the making. We spoke about it a while ago and just kind of going through some things of trying to set it up.
It's called pre-production, and in pre-production there are do-overs until all parties are satisfied with the outcome. And here we are right now working on the outcome. First thing first is the podcast, why we started it.
You know what? I feel like from a marriage perspective, we have the inability to look at things a little different. And when I say that, just society itself. I'm opinionated, Robin's opinionated. And I think we both bring, a different perspective to just what we're trying to say or what we're trying to convey. You want to jump in on that?
Opinionated in a positive stance, meaning that we have opinions about things and we are not shy when it comes to sharing it, when it comes to the world at large, when it comes to relationship triumphs, relationship woes. Definitely things are personal, and but there are more things that are shareable in regards to what I go through, what he goes through, what we go through, that is worthy of being shared to help those behind us, those next to us, if I'm wording that correctly.
Agree. So, let's officially introduce ourselves. We've been married now for about what? Wow.
August makes. August makes.
Oh, you waiting for me to say? Oh, man. Putting on the spot. Okay, so let me see. August makes, I'm going to say 14 years.
August makes 14 years. Round of applause. I think he hesitated on purpose.
No. I have to do the math, but I know.
Okay. August does make 14 years, and we've been together. I am going to say, add 9 to that, August will make 23 years that we've been together. We're both 40 years old, right? And it's basically more than half our lives.
Definitely. And so right now we're just bringing you on this journey with us, and we're going to tackle everything from love to business to just general topics.
Love to business to general topics. That's a good one, because at the end of the day, we're partners.
Absolutely.
Financially, emotionally, I guess. And then what I always tell people is that we're friends.
Absolutely.
It sounds cliche, but if we weren't friends, I don't think we would have gone through our 20s and 30s together and still stand here and say, hey, you want to do a podcast talking about our relationship? But it brings me to the Instagram post that I mentioned to you earlier that I'm going to share here. Someone was celebrating their anniversary, and in their caption, they wrote, well, they've also been friends all their lives and together at a young age. And this individual wrote, she wonders if his parents were fearful that their kids found love, such serious love, at such a young age. And I posed that question to Nick. Would he be fearful if London and Stone, our 2 kids, if they found love at anywhere between 16 and even, I dare say, 20 years old, and decided to do the whole marathon with that one person for the rest of their lives? If we saw love that strong, that young, how would we feel?
You know, the thing is, I wouldn't be fearful, and I don't think at that age it's pretty much love. I think it's more just, you're my person, and we're just gonna rock. Like, I remember when we first started out, literally, like, my whole world revolved around Robin. So if I'm hanging out with Robin. If we're partying, guess who I'm partying with? So it just became a natural progression. And, speaking for myself, I felt like the more years tacked on is the more serious I want to get. I kind of like a levels thing. Like levels first is like we're hanging out, we're dating. Next level is we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Level after that, and I mean, of course, with the levels come maturity as well. The next level after, boyfriend and girlfriend is, we get engaged. No one says you have to get married right away. These are times to figure things out, work it out, work finances out. If you're in school, if you're traveling, whatever, work it out. And so these are the levels for me. And then, of course, after fiance comes the marriage, the family, and everything else. So that's how I equated it. So no pressure.
Right. And with each level comes obstacles too. So
absolutely.
Definitely, I think the obstacles either mend you further together or creates a wedge and breaks you apart. If London and Stone were to fall deeply in love and have that strong connection with their peer or potential spouse at a young age, I don't know how I would feel. It would definitely be about vetting this potential spouse.
If we don't already know them.
If we don't already know them, because they already have lifelong friends this far in the game. But I always say, I don't know how our parents felt about us because no shade or taken away from our parents. I only grew up with my mother. And Nick, I think you could say the same, pretty much.
Definitely.
Right? And they weren't attentive to our love life. So I can't.
But you know what? It's a good question to ask. So it's actually something that we can actually come back to.
My mother would say, Abby, it's your life.
but I still think it's a good follow-up.
It is a good follow-up.
I mean, just because we think we know what they would say, it's good to actually know what they would say or think or thought at that moment.
That's true. That's true.
So.
But when it comes to our two, I wouldn't stop it, but I would continuously pose challenging questions to both of them and their potential spouses, just so they're not caught up in fairy tale. And yeah, like one of the things that I think, and I'll always mention this because it was a definite pivot and turning point in my life. I had leukemia at the age of 22.
Yeah.
And Nick and I were together at that point about 5 years maybe. And that was a point at which we could have gotten closer or further apart because your 20s is about drinking and turning up, not coming to NYU hospital every day before work for a month and following your girl to chemo appointments. So yeah, those aren't questions that were posed to us. Those are real life events, and that's just one of many that we hope to share along this podcast route of Unscrupulous Shit.
Absolutely.
And why did we come up with Unscrupulous? Because a lot of people, when I talk about this, they're like, why the name?
You know what? I mean, for me, again, it's more just tackling the bullshit of life, but tackling it from almost a funny perspective. Like there's so much things out there that you can just laugh at, but you gotta put a comedic spin on it just to literally enjoy life. Not everything has to be that serious.
That's true.
And if you think about the name, it's not that serious.
It's not that, yeah, the name, exactly. The name is not that serious. Like, we're married to the name in regards to, like, the fact that we're keeping the name, but we're not married to the name in regards to where everything's unscrupulous, right? Life is unscrupulous, but we're still in the game, so there you go. Want to talk about app?
Yeah, so there's this app that we use. It's a couples app. It's called Paired, And from that, it gives you daily challenges, daily questions, and just a chance to overall grow your relationship with your spouse. So if there's certain things you didn't know about this person, what this app does is it actually allows you to open up more, from almost like a conversational piece. So some of the questions posed, Robin's actually going to pull them up. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. So, just to add to what you said, it prompts you to answer the question each morning, but I cannot see Nick's answer unless I answer as well. So, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So no one or neither party is influenced by the other's answer. And I do notice that Nick is very, what is it, a wordsmith when it comes to this app?
What can I say?
More so than in person. So it's a plus, and the questions are challenging.
That means to love me.
All right, so we decided that we will do about 3 questions.
3 questions, yeah.
I don't remember which one we chose in a prior conversation, but the first question that pops up here is, what brings you together as a couple? Should you read yours? I read mine, or?
All right. So my answer, definitely our goals and drive, but more than anything else, it's our love for each other. That love shows up in so many ways, such as support for what we both have going on, and also in our creative nature. We want the best for each other, and that can never be understated.
See what I mean? All those words. Me, I put. All right, so the question is,
my true feelings.
What brings you together as a couple? I put, overall, spending time together without constraints help us get closer. More specifically, planning our future and sharing our personal goals with each other as to bringing us together. So yeah, I think that's the default that I picked up from a lot of the questions, that Nick and I, we bond through goals. We bond through helping each other with our goals, achievements, and just, you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so this one.
Read the question.
What do you think are the 3 most important ingredients for a healthy sex life?
What did you say?
Expression of likes and dislikes, frequency, and playfulness.
All right, so for me, I said an open mind, creating a safe environment, not forgetting to have fun. So, overall, we agree on the fundamentals of what a healthy sex life looks like. Being that this is the opener, we would definitely like to know what your opinion is as far as what a healthy sex life looks like for you.
Yeah, I don't need to know what your healthy sex life looks like.
Just a definition
with somebody else.
But I don't need to know all the details of it.
But it's definitely, I think the 3 things or the 2 things or 1 thing, whatever X amount of things that you and your spouse want to talk about, you guys should talk about it, right?
But I think, the thing about most couples don't share enough with the healthy things going on.
Or the unhealthy things. Or not sharing things, is unhealthy. Yeah.
And I think it's just, especially us as, I want to say as a community, we don't share enough, and I think that's one of our problems, we literally need more help than we believe, so that's why I pose the question, how would you answer that question?
That's true. It should be an active question in the relationship, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not a question to be scared of or feel judged. I definitely like to discuss frequency,
She's all about frequency.
But anyway, that's a future podcast when we're strictly talking about...
We have one more.
About sex. Yeah. Okay. So this is just whatever. Okay. So it's 2 things. We can talk about the conflict one or the one that makes your partner feel safe.
Let me see. You choose.
Okay. Why not both? We're finishing up. It's not going to be like a super long.
Miss a tree, but she said 4. Go on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Breaking the sweat.
Oh, man. Under the lights.
Okay. When it comes to resolving conflict, what skill do you admire most in your partner? I wrote, see, this is the thing. I got like one line and it has like 6. I wrote his ability to not hold a grudge. And Nick writes.
Honestly, I'm not sure what I admire, what I really admire, but I know that she's persistent when it comes to getting answers. She's a great listener, but she does do, as I do, speak over each other, which normally sends the conflict elsewhere. So, yeah, that's something that, again, I'm pretty sure all couples do. Stop speaking over each other. Give each other the floor. Hear each other out. Have a complete thought, and then start.
So my thing is Nick didn't answer this question, in my opinion. So I'm going to assume he doesn't admire anything about the way I resolve conflict. I am steadfast in my questions, knowing what I want to know and making sure everything is clear and makes sense. And yeah, we do talk over each other, and sometimes it's not the content of what we're fighting about. It's how we're fighting that really turns things up, you know? I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as a man, you guys don't really like speaking, especially when the conversation has a high intensity.
We just don't like too much talk, period. That's just men in general.
All right, so I won't let this escalate, but I definitely
But you know what? Again, this is why we're putting it out there. This is why we are coming together, so we can get different opinions.
Yeah, because my thing is, it's like, it's not that you don't like to talk. Like, I'm speaking for Nick specifically. Nick will talk up a whole room. So don't say you don't like to talk when you do like to talk. You just don't like to talk to me when we are going at it.
I don't like arguing, so.
Okay, so then that's different. Don't say I don't like to talk.
But I said men in general. That was the general.
Well, and I don't think men don't like to talk. I think men don't like to talk when conflict arises.
Absolutely, I agree.
So make sure your asses don't cause conflict.
Negative.
Moving on. And last one, because I just thought each one were equally like important.
Okay.
How does your partner make you feel safe? Once again, I have 1.5 lines and Nick has about 7. So go ahead, Nick. How do I make you feel safe?
This is really good with money, at least when it comes to spending for the house. And for better or worse, she's also the voice of reason, which has its benefit when it comes to crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So, again, she makes me feel safe by being the voice of reason.
So with that, sometimes I wonder if Nick is only married to me for money. I'm joking. I'm joking. And then I wrote, Nick makes me feel safe by making me feel like my happiness comes first. And I say that wholeheartedly. But nonetheless, that is Unscrupulous Shit.
Yeah, that's us in a heartbeat. So
podcast number 1 in the bag.
But thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Sorry to cut you off. See, we're talking over each other. But please follow us on Instagram, unscrupulous_shit, or AKA Bobby.
God's ring.
On Instagram. And hopefully our YouTube channel comes sooner than later. All right. DM us. Bye.
Later.